It's not just a money-saving exercise. It's about having more efficient use of facilities, more efficient use of clinical skills and expertise, and treating the patients where where it's best for them.
We do things in quite an old-fashioned way. That means that we've got less resource available to provide community services that elsewhere in the country would help us use our hospitals less, look after people more in the community and give them appropriate services closer to home.
I mean, my own brother, he had to travel to Carlisle just to have something done on his eye. I mean, it's a long way, especially when they have to take time off work to go about it.
When they do the assessments, sometimes it's just blood on your blood pressure and things like that, where little things like that the doctor can do.
I'm based at most of the hospitals in West Cumbria. I tend to base myself more in the diabetes centre here in Whitehaven, but my biggest role is actually out in the community. Yeah, the biggest benefit to actually being able to do this is in the past, when there's been problems, quite often patients and children have actually been readmitted into hospital to have problems sorted out, whereas they can actually be sorted out much more in situ now. The girl we're going to see today is, she's about 13 years old, and she was newly diagnosed back in June this year, so she's had quite a lot of adjustments to make in her life. And obviously one of the biggest reasons why I'm going back today to see her is that school has just started, so to see how things have fit in with her school life. How are we doing?
Nice to see you again. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, come in.
Well, look, we can have a look, see how your control is over the day. And again, your control is actually pretty good in the first half, but towards the end of the day, whether you push the testing, but towards the end of the day, it is drifting.
There was always that concern about what's going to happen in the future, and certainly that's been been put at rest a lot by the visits from Calvin.
The real long-term benefits of being able to get a handle on this condition at an early stage and throughout childhood is they should be able to be as self-reliant as possible, so there should actually be less of a drain on resources.
Well, I think the elderly seem to get a bit of a rough deal, really. There doesn't seem to be the places for them to go after their hospital care.
We see a number of people who do end up in hospital because they haven't got an alternative, and maybe a facility like a community hospital or a support team maybe coming out from a hospital will be a way of stopping those people coming into hospital, providing that's appropriate to do.
I'm based here at the Cumberland Infirmary but work in the community. Today I'm about to visit one of my patients at home. We've known him for the last couple of years since he was discharged from the hospital, and we've followed him up ever since at home. We found that a lot of our patients were what we call revolving door patients, and that meant they were in and out of hospital on a regular basis. But once we took them onto the scheme and we educated them and we discussed their illness with them, how they coped with it, gave them coping strategies, and the education and the knowledge and the skills that we passed on to them enabled them to cope more easily with their illness, therefore preventing readmission to hospital. And I think this has been the most beneficial part of the scheme.
And it's been really beneficial because I haven't been in hospital now for 2 years. Before that, I was in and out like a yo-yo.
I definitely think there's a place for a service like ours for patients with long-term conditions in the community, because the ultimate aim is to prevent readmission to hospital and keep these people and provide them with the support and all the help that they need in their own homes.
Bye-bye, love.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you.
Most of the work isn't rocket science and can be carried out by a much lower grade of operation. It's just people's expectations, again, are they want a neurosurgeon to fix their boil. It ain't going to happen.
You can't have things everywhere because, it just wouldn't be cost effective. But, to go to Carlisle, for things is quite a long way from here.
I've been in Carlisle Hospital as well this year. I've not had a good year. And while Carlisle's an excellent hospital and everything like that, it'd be better if it was here, in this hospital here.
Okay. There are lots of new services that we're offering at the hospital in Maryport, which is a small community hospital, and I'll take you over there and show you some examples. We're offering extended minor surgery to remove skin lesions, minor skin cancers, and so on, and also vasectomy.
It's definitely popular with patients. I mean, we know that. Every patient who comes through, when we send the results out to them, we send out a patient satisfaction questionnaire. I think we've had one negative comment out of 250. We almost have to provide a better service because we are providing a new service and trying to persuade people that the quality is such that they can safely refer into it.
We also have a patient on the ward who is receiving intravenous antibiotics 4 times a day, whereas previously she would have had to go to West Cumberland Hospital to be admitted for that treatment. Now she can nip in for an hour to have the intravenous and then go home.
I mean, it would be a good idea if people were disabled, like me, if you could make an appointment at your home or the working hospital, because it's a lot easier than trying to get to West Cumberland.
You could go to a vet or even a chemist, and they could tell you as much as what a doctor can nowadays, can't they? And I mean, a vet's bound to be good because dogs and cats can't talk, so they're clever people, I reckon. And they've got the same complaints, dogs, arthritis and all the rest of it we have.
If it were that hospital services now, which are repairing broken limbs, was delegated to doctor surgeries, I would welcome that initiative. And if it were that it proved successful over a 6-month or a 12-month period and a track record of success, then I'd be quite delighted.